At 2:42 p.m. on May 6, 2010, the impossible happened. The impossible happened. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the bedrock of American finance, plummeted nearly 1,000 points in mere minutes. It wasn't a slow decline. It was a sudden, terrifying freefall that wiped out $1 trillion in market value before anyone truly understood what was occurring. This wasn't a global financial crisis slowly unfolding like 2008. This was a lightning strike, an event so rapid and unprecedented that it left market participants, regulators, and even algorithmic trading systems utterly bewildered. The flash crash of 2010 became a stark, chilling preview of a new era in finance. To truly grasp the shock of that day, we need to understand the financial landscape just before 2010. The markets were still reeling from the Great Recession. Trust was fragile, and volatility was a constant companion. Yet, beneath the surface, a revolution was quietly reshaping how trades were executed. High-frequency trading, or HFT, had emerged as a dominant force. These ultra-fast computer programs, operating on milliseconds, executed millions of trades a day, often exploiting tiny price discrepancies. They promised efficiency, liquidity, and tighter spreads. But they also introduced a new, unseen layer of complexity and risk. The flash crash wasn't simply a technical glitch. It was a perfect storm, a confluence of market conditions, human error, and the unchecked power of these automated systems. It exposed the vulnerabilities inherent in a market increasingly governed by algorithms, where human oversight struggled to keep pace. On May 6, 2010, the day began like any other. The markets opened with some anxieties about the ongoing European sovereign debt crisis, particularly in Greece. But nothing hinted at the seismic event that would unfold in the afternoon. Around 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time, a large institutional seller initiated a substantial trade of E-mini S&P 500 futures, contracts a highly liquid derivative. This wasn't unusual, but the sheer size and the automated nature of its execution would prove pivotal. This seller used an algorithm designed to offload a massive position without overtly moving the market. The algorithm was programmed to target a percentage of the overall trading volume, dynamically adjusting its sell orders. A seemingly prudent strategy, in theory. However, the market's liquidity that afternoon was thinner than usual. As the selling pressure mounted, the HFT algorithms, designed to provide liquidity and profit from tiny spreads, began to withdraw their bids. They saw prices falling, and their programs told them to step back, not to catch a falling knife. This created a dangerous feedback loop. As HFTs pulled back, liquidity evaporated. Prices dropped faster, triggering more HFT programs to withdraw. It was like a game of musical chairs where the music suddenly stopped, and there weren't enough seats for everyone. The plunge was exacerbated by a phenomenon known as stub quotes. These were extremely low-priced bids placed by market makers, not with the intention of trading, but to fulfill regulatory requirements. In a normal market, they are irrelevant. But in a liquidity vacuum, they became targets. Prices for some stocks, particularly those in the S&P 500, collapsed to mere pennies. Accenture, for example, traded at 1 cent a share. And then, just as suddenly, it bounced back to its normal price. Many trades were executed at these absurd prices, only to be later canceled. The sheer speed of the crash meant human traders were utterly helpless. By the time they processed what was happening, the market had already moved. They watched in horror as their screens flashed with impossible prices, unable to intervene effectively in real time. At its nadir, the Dow had fallen 998, 5 points, representing a nearly 9% drop. This was the largest intraday point drop in its history at the time. $1 trillion of wealth evaporated, only to largely reappear within minutes, leaving behind a profound sense of unease. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Regulators and exchanges struggled to explain what had happened. Fingers pointed in every direction: algorithmic trading, the large institutional seller, even a single rogue trader. The search for a single culprit began. Eventually, a joint report by the SEC and CFTC identified the large institutional sell order as a significant catalyst, but emphasized the role of automated trading systems in amplifying the decline. They dubbed it a hot potato effect, where algorithms rapidly passed off selling pressure. The report concluded there was no single cause, but a combination of factors. The market's fragility, the automated sell order, and the rapid withdrawal of HFT liquidity all contributed to the precipitous decline. It was a systemic failure, not just an isolated incident. The flash crash also brought to light the story of Navinder Singh Sarao, a London-based futures trader. While not the direct cause of the crash, his actions later gained infamy. Sarao was accused of spoofing, placing large orders with no intention of executing them, simply to manipulate prices. Sarao's tactics, using a custom-built algorithm, created downward pressure on the E-mini futures market on May 6th. While not directly responsible for the initial institutional sell order, his spoofing amplified the existing conditions, making the market even more vulnerable. He was later extradited and sentenced. The flash crash served as a stark warning. It forced regulators worldwide to confront the implications of a market dominated by algorithms. New rules were quickly implemented, most notably circuit breakers' automatic trading halts designed to prevent such rapid freefalls. These circuit breakers, or limit-up/limit-down rules, now pause trading in individual securities if their price moves beyond a certain percentage threshold in a short period. The goal: to provide a moment for human intervention and to prevent the kind of rapid, uncontrolled descent seen in 2010. The flash crash was a cautionary tale, demonstrating how even the most sophisticated systems can fail spectacularly when human understanding and oversight lag behind technological advancement. It highlighted the inherent risks of speed and automation without adequate safeguards. It also underscored a fundamental truth about financial markets: they are complex adaptive systems. Introducing new technologies, even with the best intentions, can have unforeseen and potentially catastrophic consequences. The quest for speed and efficiency often comes with hidden costs. The event solidified the notion that market manipulation, whether intentional or accidental, can have systemic repercussions far beyond individual trades. It forced a re-evaluation of ethical responsibilities in the age of algorithmic trading and the sheer power these systems wield. To explore another moment when unchecked ambition threatened the global financial system, watch our next video on the collapse of long-term capital management.